The average retiree assumes a $1.46 million nest egg is enough to survive a 20% market crash. But the actual threat, mathematically guaranteed to bankrupt your golden years, is the emotional habit of handing $7,000 a year to your adult children. That single, normalized financial leak extracts over $200,000 in lost compound growth over a decade. It guarantees you will run out of money by age 80, forcing you to sacrifice your own medical care to fund a lifestyle someone else did not earn. Today, you are going to learn the 10 specific lifestyle traps destroying middle-class retirements and the structural tax and investment pivots the wealthy use to protect their capital from running dry. The wealthy treat their retirement like a defensive fortress. The middle class treats it like a family charity. Right now, 75% of American parents are financially supporting at least one adult child. We're not talking about emergency medical bills. We are talking about routine, predictable subsidies. Take a 62-year-old couple sending their 28-year-old daughter $1,200 on Venmo every single month to cover Brooklyn rent and utilities. Statistically, 53% of adult children receiving this support are perfectly capable of covering their own basic needs, but parents pay anyway out of immense generational guilt. That $1,200 a month extracts $144,000 in raw cash directly from your nest egg over 10 years. Every single month, you are funding someone else's 20s by selling off your own 80s. The truly wealthy shift from emotional funding to structured support. They treat the annual gift tax exclusion as a planning tool, not a blank check. For 2026, that exclusion is $19,000 per recipient, but retirement accounts have separate contribution limits and earned income rules. Instead of Venmoing rent money for weekend brunches, the wealthy help fund a child's Roth IRA only when the child has eligible income and stays within the annual IRA limit. The money is locked away, growing tax-free under the rules, and the kid faces penalties if they raid it for a vacation. It is controlled, enforcing actual financial discipline while satisfying your biological urge to help. To understand why retirees fall for this guilt trap, look at the data. Americans believe they need $1.46 million to retire, but the Federal Reserve's actual data shows the median savings for people nearing retirement is just $185,000. If 9 completely broke people are sitting in a diner and Elon Musk walks in, the average net worth in that room is suddenly $1 billion. But the median person still has absolutely $0. The median is reality. You feel behind, but you assume things will work out because your peers seem fine. Let me be perfectly clear. They are not fine. They are quietly depleting their 401ks to subsidize their family's lifestyle creep. And the absolute biggest piece of that drain is the generational car trap. Instead of letting their kids figure it out, middle-class retirees will literally co-sign a massive $60,000 auto loan for their 25-year-old because they feel bad about high interest rates. Or they buy a luxury SUV for themselves just to act as a part-time taxi for the grandkids. The middle class views vehicles as essential gifts of love. The wealthy view them as depreciating liabilities. A new car loses roughly 60% of its value by year 5. Wealthy retirees know this depreciation math cold. Swap this emotional vehicle spending for a 10-year hold on a reliable car starting at age 50. Avoiding that depreciation and compounding those saved payments adds up to roughly $400,000 by age 80. The wealthy rent depreciation, the middle class aggressively buys it. Then there's the fantasy of the open road. Class A motorhomes and boats lose more than half their value by year 10. Storage, insurance, and slip fees easily run $5,000 a year. You drop $150,000 on a motorhome. Over 10 years, after fuel, storage, and a $60,000 depreciation hit, the kids are too busy to visit, and you use it maybe 11 weeks total. That all-in cost is nearly $10,000 per week of vacation. For that money, you could fly first class to Italy and rent a private luxury villa. Instead, you are parked at a cramped campground in Ohio, emptying a plastic sewage tank in the pouring rain. The wealthy calculate lifetime liabilities, but the middle class falls for emotional vacation pitches that turn into financial prisons. If you pull out your phone and look at a live search on eBay right now for the exact word timeshare, you will see the terrifying reality. You will find hundreds of listings priced at exactly $1. Owners are literally selling real estate for less than a vending machine soda just to escape mandatory maintenance fees that average $1,500 a year and can legally rise forever. A timeshare is not a vacation investment. It is a categorical wealth transfer from your retirement account directly to a sales corporation. The wealthy avoid these entirely, keeping their capital liquid and simply renting when they travel. The wealthy buy cheap term insurance. The middle class buys expensive commission products sold as investments. A healthy 30-year-old can buy a $500,000 term life policy for $20 a month. The whole life version of that exact same policy costs $400 a month. That massive markup goes directly into the insurance agent's pocket. Variable annuities do the exact same thing, skimming 3 to 4% in hidden fees. It means an annuity is just a contract where you give a company a lump sum and they promise to trickle it back to you. If the market goes down, they still get paid. Buy cheap term life insurance, invest the massive difference in low-cost index funds, and walk away from the guy in the nice suit. Next is the grandchild magnet trap. The wealthy rent the premium lake house for 4 weeks. The middle class buys a second mortgage out of the ego of ownership, hoping it will bribe the family into visiting more often. You buy a $400,000 lake house, before you even spend a night there, property taxes, HOA fees, and lawn service cost $16,000 a year. Sitting completely empty 45 weeks a year, that house is dead equity. Left in an index fund growing at 7%, that capital would generate millions for your heirs, instead of leaving them a rotting wooden dock to maintain. The wealthy buy strategic access. The middle class subsidizes failing golf courses. Country club initiation fees have skyrocketed to $50,000, with annual dues adding $10,000. Then the food minimum forces you to eat $150 worth of mediocre chicken on a Tuesday just to hit your quota. It is a monthly subscription to feeling important, and it absolutely destroys your monthly cash flow. The wealthy protect their daily cash flow. The middle class outsources their basic survival to delivery apps. When you retire, you suddenly have 40 extra hours a week. Logically, you should be cooking at home. Instead, 67% of retirees completely blow their food budgets, defaulting to expensive convenience like DoorDash and Uber Eats. Food delivery apps invisibly mark up menu items by up to 20%, add service fees, delivery, and a tip, and a standard $15 burger becomes a $35 charge. You are paying a 100% markup purely because you could not be bothered to drive 2 miles down the road. The wealthy ruthlessly audit their liabilities. The middle class lets corporations auto-renew their lives. You finally pay off your mortgage, but property taxes and home insurance premiums never stop rising. 60% of retirees get blindsided by insurance creep. Your homeowner's policy likely has inflation guard riders. It means the insurance company automatically raises your coverage amount and your premium every single year, assuming your house costs more to rebuild. They artificially inflate your bill without your permission. Wealthy retirees run a ruthless insurance audit every single year, intentionally raising their deductibles to lower their monthly premiums. The wealthy prepare for immediate market corrections. The middle class blindly hopes the stock market stays green. The first decade of retirement introduces a terrifying mathematical phenomenon called sequence of returns risk. If you retire with $1 million, immediately pull out $80,000 to remodel your kitchen, and the market crashes 20% that same year, your portfolio is mathematically crippled. You will never recover that lost principal. The middle class retires on a Friday and starts aggressively spending on Monday. The truly wealthy survive by shifting their mechanics. They strictly defer all major trophy purchases until they are safely past the 5-year risk zone. More importantly, they structure their assets using the 3-bucket strategy to immunize themselves against market crashes. Bucket 1 is the liquid buffer, holding 2 years of living expenses. You cannot just leave this in a checking account to get destroyed by inflation. The wealthy build a treasury bill ladder. Every time one expires, it hands you a chunk of cash, creating a guaranteed synthetic paycheck every few months. If Wall Street crashes tomorrow, you do not panic, and you do not sell your stocks at a loss, because your T-bill ladder is safely paying your bills for the next 24 months. Bucket 2 is the growth buffer, invested quietly in low-cost S&P 500 index funds. Bucket 3 is the longevity buffer, designed purely for late-in-life healthcare and long-term facility costs. By structuring their money this way, the wealthy dictate exactly which account they pull from based on what the market is doing. Furthermore, the wealthy execute massive tax pivots while the middle class sleeps. Tax brackets, standard deductions, and retirement account rules change over time, so the real mistake is assuming today's tax setup will protect you forever. The middle class lazily leaves their money in traditional 401ks, waiting until the government forces them to take required minimum distributions at age 73, which can stack taxable income on top of Social Security, pensions, and investment income. The wealthy are looking at the math right now. They review strategic Roth conversions during lower-income retirement years, not because one calendar year magically saves everyone, but because paying a controlled tax bill today can shelter future compound growth from the IRS. They compare today's bracket, future required minimum distributions, Medicare surcharges, and survivor tax risk before moving a dollar. If you skip this review, you may surrender a massive chunk of your legacy directly to the federal government. You do not need a magical new investment to save your retirement. You need to immediately stop the bleeding. Retirement is not a single finish line you cross and forget about. It is a defensive fortress you have to actively protect every single day. You did not grind at a job for 40 long years to spend your final decades stressing over grocery bills just because you felt pressured to fund a massive luxury vehicle or subsidize an adult child's apartment. Reclaim your financial autonomy today. Pull up your bank statements from the last 90 days and ruthlessly audit your outflows. Calculate exactly how much money you transferred out of guilt, tally up the convenience fees, and look at the final horrifying number. Set a hard, unforgiving cap and have the uncomfortable conversation with your kids. Cancel the redundant subscriptions. Commit to keeping your current car for the next 10 years. You do not need to skip every single luxury in life, and the goal is not to die with the largest possible bank account. But if you cut just 3 of these traps, the generational car upgrades, the adult children's subsidies, and the status subscriptions, you instantly stop lighting $30,000 to $40,000 a year on fire. Over a 20-year retirement, that simple behavioral shift is the exact difference between running out of money at age 78 and leaving behind a permanent generational fortune. The math does not care about your ego, and it certainly does not care what your family assumes you can afford. Make these structural changes right now, before the market aggressively makes them for you.